so this is my end of year project, my drone type drone simulator. This essentially was supposed to serve as like a simple simulation specifically for drones. I spent most of the time on the back end, so the accuracy of the drones being tested isn't really like that impressive. But I think overall, like in terms of how I was able to combine multiple programming languages I knew, such as C++, Unity, and Python, along with some new like languages that I had to learn on the spot, like JavaScript and Node. I think this is a pretty impressive project that highlights my capabilities for specifically making simulations. So in order to run this project, when you possibly clone it or whatever, if you want to test it, like whatever's in the description, you can just run node server.js and you should be able to run it. And this, of course, after you run the commands npm init y and npm install express cores. One important note is actually first before I run the server, you need to go in main and run this command to create like a .out exe, which would be important for like the app.js in order to understand like exactly where it's supposed to go. And make sure you install like the libsqlite 3 like /dev thing in order to in order to run this command specifically, because I do use lsqlite, which is in the dependencies folder. One more important thing I almost forgot to mention is that you have to run this sqlmaker.py in order to generate this drones database, which is essentially an SQLite like database, which has a bunch of information specifically for each drone, which is of course spawned from this like CSV. It is kind of convoluted, but I did want to sort of like touch base on like how exactly SQL works, and I believe that this was like the best way, and I believe I'm well informed honestly. So after we do that, you can again run node.server.js, and then you can run your index.html that's in the main folder. To be honest, I prefer using live server, but if you have any other alternatives, I believe it should work. As long as your devices are on the same like network. Like you can run this on another device, and I'm pretty sure it would work. It's just that you have to make sure they're on the same like network. So I'll open up the live server. I'll do multiple tests to show you like how exactly my drone works. My drone simulator works. So I'll select DJI Mavic, and then I'll select on the PL scale. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but it's essentially like a wind like speed scale that essentially determines like the level of like the level of wind that specifically drones can take before they pretty much like fail. I'll choose like maybe like we'll do something funny like hurricane force, which is something that no drone I think can survive. And we'll go at altitude of 500. Now, even though my simulation isn't perfect, there are some like rules. Like, obviously, this would probably fail like at specifically a hurricane force. So I'll click. Now that I have everything installed, I'll click Run Simulation. And as you can see, a new like web URL pops up, and boom, just it goes up to the height of 500, and then wait for a set amount of time. Of course, in this case, we wait 4 seconds because obviously they can't like handle that height. I was going to add like more systems in place, like it can't like rise that high if the winds were too high and other stuff like that. But I couldn't really focus on the Unity portion as I had to spend most of this time with the JavaScript and like the calculations specifically for the force as well as the torque of each like drone model. It was insanely hard to get that information, but that's a story for another day. As you can see, if I attempt to run, I need like without like a drone name, I need to select the drone name first. In this case, let's select Rice Tello, and I can't like run the simulation unless I have all the values selected. I'll do calm just to showcase like the capabilities. And still, I need to input the altitude greater than 0. So I'll say like 30, and this should run for a very long time. In the case where it does, I do have like intervals of time, like when it reaches 10 seconds for it to speed up, so that he wouldn't be waiting like forever. But yeah, I've essentially tested through all, well not all of them, but there probably are some edge cases that I probably messed up on. but for most of the simulation, it should particularly work. I do wish I could come back to this project eventually someday. Well, honestly, I think I need to sort of move on and go on to more projects, but eventually, if I went back to this, I would be able to improve like the accuracy of the simulation. So far, that would pretty much be the only thing I need to work on. And yeah, as you can see, the total airtime was 52 seconds, and it did speed up like quite noticeably. So yeah, that's my drone simulation project. Again, please follow me on LinkedIn and check out my GitHub.